Kole ngambulo luku. With whatever we do, you're the with whatever we do, nene kudlukula. Ibuloki nungoto ni beti so. Ibuloki ato ni beti so.
Bigi Congo.
Lamin. Lamin te jibe norin te nyame lamin.
Kabona wulokono.
Wulokono nyinte mo lamin.
Pabilenki.
Muna ngata afamole.
Haina.
Ngata. Ngoto le. Fabrama.
Mingi. Baba nyola.
Ngoto le. Fabrama.
Namu jumara kan kuma diten.
Fabrama.
Jumara mu.
Ndele bare muso.
Lunda mana. Jamani mbere.
Lindo ko.
Jamani.
Bari ngoto man kontande.
Bari jamani fana na ramudu wa kontan.
Ngoto minaka ngala min je fon filitala. Lamin jibe nori nyala.
Lamin ila sira sama na benki. Yala so tol sayni no ko mo lokko momo.
Ngoto.
Nam.
Ne lamin hakilo diata bake karambugot. Anu sante ministry ko di ngole si suko na amanke ko do holiday
si bitun
bagona de
ala ni ko kede namo balo
ala ni na ko na karta bulo be dam ala ni
ngoto
nam
ngoto mon kontan feren
jamani mu nekata
ifika lamin ki wulo ko no nyintay mon ko do fete malo lamin nyande sila la be la moy kala karango
jamani karamol be sorande ne ko fasita wulo ko nako
baba
karambugol ma soron ni ko karambugol soron da amanke ko holiday lem ngoto dindi wonyanta sila la ala karango la moy yamen kamen fue man kontan anda mande
alla nyin kombo courant adanda la kombo len do la jankara mol soron do kamen courant ma ra do la kombo e ko ndol fanena kara mol soron je kara mol soron lamin ada lo nyino la man tara fe na sokon ala mu nekela
lamin ite fayde malon ko lesinol be ke kar radio to
nga fine
e ko nyani mo lamin ya mu na fonye
bi kabin mina kan tambita nteri maning Fatu. Ndambide la sukol ala diningol bebe siri be la moyka.
Faru danso am fana tambida jele ni subala la ngaje diningol be jet talanta nen kili waro. E be seri jelet.
Sa lamin fanante ku kili ko keno la ba lamin bitaka wulo ko no nyinta mo alami.
Amandara fenela.
Ite dine ko di man si yakaru la sino la moy radio to balon na.
Muneka ke afende ba nyara ni alon.
Kelentel jikot.
Afende ba mu be ke.
Ite balon tel be jikritel. Ni man karambe ku kele. Yaje nata karana mbasa malaya ay tarije.
Par ñarande kombo courant ho findira kombo ide na rajede ni sonka bay ko lamin manya tala wulo ko karam mo be so dafa ne membe
ko to wole nati bawo ngalle ni lamin kuntala kombo courant o ka fa me kombo courant asototal wala kinay ko e sisu ko no bari ni ko e sisu ko no be karangol dike la radio lin telel to hani tele masoto to nyaay man tele soto la bongo bar radio be bulen ko to batiri sanga ay si ay alama
sa do kala nyaadi
ko ta o bulaji
ado kala nyaadi
kamun ke nyaadi
radio abe wala moy la be mona falaje
ibe la karandirol kala jele
ti le radio ko men ka karande
ile subject ro baby jele baby jele
wala nanga chocho moy fa dan so wala ngombe tambi kana ngadi ni wolde be ikadum bungo de ko kada ma
asoto talde
la min mala be kara wala de
bari laftalal ideal on ko inde every year second wala fourth
mona ni ko di ha ko nde ko folle sinila mba ndele sinilo ne ba
mba say mba foke en koto wole fango yen wulindi yalo famo keta bat yu fana bulata ko ko me yen nati jambi lamin nyanta karana ntel beji ko be nyineka ya bulay kara wulo kono ta kilar ya bambalo yo be bulaje ko dindi ngoy si ayala le sino la moy radio
wala ka munda kara mo man soro lamin nyanta kara si so na radio
la sila le ayala le sino
dal ko korno ko smolo
kilar ya
be ngala ko momo sa mi do ni ko no kera ndebe ko ro la ba rosa no radio ba no bari woro radio ni abe jele ba ngamra do man nembe buljan dala nyara nyar wofra bu ko fendi mo lamin tayra ba rosa
bara te ku folo ajibe nori nya labi tamete ku
teku
bari ko do famo ke
imagine nani nyambol si zol le keje kisigi man si zol no le kafun ka nyoma bari nyambu kilo ni manya na kafindi ni nambe ko zol la ga
ngalle limbeta de be nyambo do dilanna
nyara ni ko ridin fennat nyara nata
ha bari famo ke da
ngata bungono tammi bungono nyara ngando ko fele ko ke baru nganda ni pelo landi jak
iyo awa dar la
bungono bismillah bisu diara
pendulala ye fongo tanka sina dolu tanka koro korota korota
Good day, viewers and listeners. Welcome to another Literature in English lesson. I am your teacher, Amijaite. If you can fully recall, the last class we were dealing with figures of speeches. Now today we are coming to continue from where we stopped. Part 1 and part 2 was dealt with because the figures of speeches are too many that we can't exhaust them in a single class. Today we are going to look at part 3 of figures of speeches, and we are going to start with a trope that we call handiades. Now, handiades is a figure of speech in which an idea is represented by two words linked by a coordinating conjunction. It is primarily meant to make the idea more pronounced. What we are saying is that the idea is going to be given, but the idea is going to be linked with a coordinating conjunction. An is a coordinating conjunction joining two or more words together. Now, example is the gate is on the key and locked. On the key and locked represents something else, which means closed, but key and locked is linked up with a coordinating conjunction, which is an. So the gate is on the key and locked means the gate is closed, but is represented, put together, combined together with a coordinating conjunction. Example 2. The case is now dead and buried. Dead and buried are two words that are being linked together by a coordinating conjunction and. Dead and buried means a foregone conclusion. Example 2. The case is now dead and buried. Dead and buried are two words that are being linked together with a coordinating conjunction and. So dead and buried means a foregone conclusion. So the case is now dead and buried means that the case is a foregone conclusion, but the dead and buried are linked up with a coordinating conjunction and. Example 3. I am sick and tired. Sick and tired means I am fed up. But sick and tired are linked up with a coordinating conjunction and. So I am sick and tired with the matter means I am fed up with the matter. What is more unique about handiades is that the two words are always represented with an idea, and then they are joined together with a coordinating conjunction. So from handiades, we now have to look at another device that we call chasmos. Now, chasmos is a trope in which we use contrasting words after the first clause or phrase with the intent of reversing the meaning in the earlier phrase or clause. The first one, you're going to understand that in chasmos, we don't deal with words, but we deal with phrases and we deal with clauses. Now, we don't survive. Example is we don't survive to walk, but walk to survive. The definition is saying that we use contrasting words after the first clause or phrase with the intent of reversing the meaning. Example 2, she paid to be taught, but was not taught to be paid. Example 3, we eat to live, but do not live to eat. These are examples of the trope that we call chasmos. So from chasmos, we are now going to look at another device that is called sarcasm. Now, sarcasm is the direct opposite of euphemism. You are told that in euphemism, we use mild way of expressing situations that are very unpleasant. We use a very nice way of presenting milder, harsh situations. We use mild way of expressing very unpleasant situations. Now, if they are telling you that sarcasm is the opposite of euphemism, it means that there will not be any milder way of expressing very unpleasant situations, but then the situations are going to be unpleasantly said to the audience. Now, it is used to turn one's nose up at someone, which means to get someone very angry. Hence, it is referred to as a snare or a jibe. It is a figure of speech in which we use words intended to hurt the feeling of someone. remember in euphemism you use very mild way of expressing so that the one receiving the information does not get offended. But in sarcasm, your intention is to hurt the individual's feeling. So the speaker is said to be impudent or cheeky or rude. So from sarcasm, we move to another trope that is called innuendo. Now, innuendo is a figure of speech in which we use words directly to hurt someone. We use words directly to hurt someone in very simple terms. We use words we know might infuriate the listener. Example. What it is saying, we use words directly to hurt someone in very simple terms. We use words we know might infuriate the listener. Example, I know you are now sensible. This is just a simple term of expression, but then if it is said to anyone, the person will definitely get infuriated. So I know you are now sensible, which means that the person has not been thinking from any sensible angle. So if you have to tell the person that I know you are now sensible, it means you are somehow insulting the person, and which might infuriate the person at the end. Example 2. The days of our foolishness are over. It means that the foolishness that we were doing are over and that now we have come to our senses. Example 3. He hates every other thing but not objects in skirts and blouse. If this is associated with anyone, the person will really get angry because the expression is not very good, but the purpose of innuendo is to hurt the person's feeling. So he hates every other thing but not objects in skirts and blouses. It means that the person is something else. Another example of innuendo, you can trust him with every other thing except money. It means he is a thief. You can trust him if you look at a person and say you can trust him with every other thing that is good, but except money, which means that the person is a thief or is someone who really spent money anyhow. So these are the examples of innuendo, and I hope you follow in the lesson and that you are understanding more of these tropes. From innuendo, we will now move to another device that we call epigram. Now, epigram is a short, witty, or sensible or wise statement. It is a short statement, but the statement is short in such a way that it is sensible and it is a very wise statement. It is often referred to as a proverb because it contains some elements of proverb and food for thought, and also food for thought. Example, the more you look, the less you see. These are all, somehow we call them proverbs, but these are all sensible or witty statements. They are also wise statements that are food for thought. More haste, less speed is our second example. The third example is, he who wants to save his life must first lose it. This is also another short, sensible statement. And the last example of epigram is, he who wants to go to heaven must first die. This is also another example of epigram. So you have to understand that epigrams are short, witty, sensible, and wise statements that teaches something that you have to understand, which is why we call it is a food for thought statements. So from epigram, we now have to move to another device that we call litotes or understatement. These are the three words. Litotes, understatement, and meiosis. These are the three words that you can use to call any one of them. So litotes, understatement, or meiosis, this is a figure of speech where we speak of positive things using the word not. All we speak about in litotes, understatement, and meiosis are all positive, but we use the word not to in every statement that we read. You know, where there is not, where we have not in a statement, the not looks negative, but here the not is going to be used in a positive way. So that means that anything we're going to say is going to be positive, but we're going to use the word not in the statements that we will be using. Example, she is not ugly at all. She is not ugly at all is a positive statement because we have the word not inside the statement. So meiosis, understatement, and meiosis makes use of word not. Example 2, the teacher is not short. Is not a short man. The teacher is not a short man. This is also another positive statement with the use of not. Example 3, the boy is not stupid. The boy is not stupid is a positive statement, hence it has not there. So litotes, understatement, and meiosis makes use of not in speaking out positive statements. So from litotes, understatement, and meiosis, we move to another one that is called alliteration. Now remember, I told you that the English letter alphabets are divided into consonant and are divided into vowel sounds. These are the two, consonant sounds and the vowel sounds. So the repetition of consonant sounds in a successful statement is what we call alliteration, and the repetition of vowel sounds successfully in a statement is what we call assonance. So take note of both of them. But for now, we are going to look at alliteration, and alliteration, as I just said, is the repetition of consonant sounds in a successful statement. So it says that it is a figure of speech in which consonant sounds are used repeatedly. They may come very close or in between words. Example, Fatu followed her father to the festival. The first example we have is Fatu followed her father to the festival. If you look at the statement that I have just read, the word Fatu, which is a noun, begins with letter F, which is a consonant sound, followed also F, father also F, and festival F. So if you look at the statement critically, you will realize that the word F is alliterating, meaning the sound F is what we are making best use of here. So Fatu followed her father to the festival. You can see to it that most of the words in the statement begins with the sound F, which is F. So therefore in that statement, F is alliterating for the statement 1, which is Fatu followed her father to the festival. From the first example, we will now look at our second example, which states Damfa drank the drink. Damfa drank the drink is a short statement, but you can see that the D is alliterating in it. Damfa drank the drink. The letter D, which is the sound, is repeatedly mentioned in the short statement here. So Damfa drank the water, D is alliterating in that statement. We will look at the third one. Peter plays the piano periodically. Peter plays the piano. Here we can see the sound P, P alliterating in the statement. Peter as in P, which is P. So Peter plays the piano periodically. We can see that the letter P is alliterating in the words that make up the statement. From that, we move to the fourth example. Mr. Mane marries Mrs. Mane Monday morning. If you look at the statement also, you can realize that the M sound, which is M, is alliterating in the statement, is alliterating in the words that make up the statement. Mr. Mane marries Mrs. Mane Monday morning. So definitely M is alliterating there. Next one, Father Francis fried 5 fish for 5 friends from France. The one also, the letter F is alliterating. So if you look at all the above examples that I have mentioned, letter F, D, P, M, and F alliterate successfully in the words that make up each and every sentence. From alliteration, we will move to the other one. Remember, I told you we have alliteration and also we have what we call assonance. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds. Now, assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. The first example we have is Emily ate enough eggs. Look at the first one. Emily is a name of a person which begins with the letter E that has E, sound. So Emily ate end of X, you can see E alliterating in the words that make up the sentence. Example 2, she eats in a hurry. E sound there. The she has at the end E, the it has E, the I has E sound, and the hurry has, the end of the hurry has E sound. So you can see the E sound alliterating in the words that make up sentence of the second sentence here. So we have the third one here, which says cover your oil. You can see the O sound in the words that make up the sentence. So cover your oil, you can see the O sound alliterating. You can see the O sound assonating in the words that make up the sentence. So in the above example, E and O assonates. From assonance, we move to another trope that we call synesthesia. Now, synesthesia refers to a sensation or a kind of trope suggested by what one experiences. It is just suggested by what one experience or what one is going through. If you say the examination was heavy, this is something that is relative. So it is what you experience. It might be different from a difficult or a heavy examination is relative. It might be difficult on you, but also it might be very easy to someone else out there. So the examination was heavy is a personal experience. It means that a difficulty experience, but expressed with an adjective of weight. Example 2, I scored a sweet goal in yesterday's match. This is a pleasure experience with an adjective of taste. Example 3, the principal was very bitter at the student's negligence. This is annoyance, which is expressed with the adjective of taste. Note, whatever one experience which is suggested by an unlikely term is what we refer to as synesthesia. So from that, we move to another trope that is called antonomasia. Now, antonomasia is a device, is a unique kind of trope. In it, we compare quality people with quality people, quality places with quality places, and quality things with quality things. Remember, it is a unique kind which compares quality people with quality people, quality things with quality things, and quality places with quality places. Example, the dalasi is the dollar of West Africa. The dalasi is a quality thing which is being compared to the quality dollar. So we're comparing the dalasi and the dollar in the first statement. Hence it reads, the dalasi is the dollar of West Africa. Example 2, Leonard Peters is the Shakespeare of the Gambia. Shakespeare is a global writer and Leonard Peters is a Gambian writer. So when we try to compare our Leonard Peters with Shakespeare, a global writer, it means we are comparing quality people. So Leonard Peters is the Shakespeare of the Gambia. It means that we are comparing quality people with quality people, hence antonomasia. Example 3, Senegambia is the Europe of the Gambia. Senegambia, which is one of the most beautiful places in the Gambia, is being compared to Europe. So quality place is being compared with a quality place that is Europe. Hence, Senegambia is the Europe of the Gambia. The last example, Touba is the maker of the Senegambia region. Touba is a place of worship in Senegal. Now it's been compared to a global place of worship, which is Mecca. So quality place is been compared with quality place. From that, we look at another trope that is called paradox. Now this is a figure of speech in which we often see senseless when initially heard. When you are initially heard, you look as if what you are saying is senseless. However, when someone have a deeper look into what you are saying, the person will realize the sense in what you are saying. So it says, however, a closer look at the word help bring out the true sense it really makes. Example, the child is the father to man. Look at that statement very well. The child is the father to man. The child here, I'm sure the child here is representing Adam and Eve, meaning those are the genesis of human beings. So the child is the father to man. If they were children, they would have been the father of men today. So the child here symbolizes something else. Example 2, the best way to keep your money is to keep it under the custody of thief. When it is initially heard, it looks senseless, but a deeper look into it will reveal the true sense that it carries. The best way to keep your money is to keep it under the custody of thieves. Look at that. Means your money will be saved. Example 3, foreigners live close to immigration in order to avoid immigration worries. Exactly. These are some of the examples that we have on the paradox, and we will move to another device that is called pun. Now, pun is to play on words. This is a figure of speech. The writer intentionally play on words which sound alike in order to create an effect. Example, the sweat you got from the suit is enjoyable. The sweat you got from the suit is enjoyable. We are playing here on words with the sweet suit sound there. Example 2, our cat has suddenly gone after a cat. The cat and the cat, they look alike, but then the writer here is playing on words. Example 3, sleep well before you sleep. Note, pun is also the use of same words of diverse ways, like verb, noun, adjective. Example, he will joke, which is a verb. When you make him crack a joke, which is a noun. So it can combine 2 or more part of speeches together in one statement. From that, we move to another device that we call repetition. Now, repetition, as the name implies, is a trope in which words are repeated in order to create emphasis. Example, I worked, I toiled, bread, I sought, but I got a hard work before. If you look at the statement carefully, you will realize that the word I is being repeated. It's being repeated for what? Emphasis. So when we repeat certain words in a statement, it means that we are making use of the device that is called repetition. So another example we have is Ibrahim visited his mother. Ibrahim and his mother had a long discussion over Ibrahim's well-being, which greatly favored Ibrahim. Here the word Ibrahim is repeating itself in the sentence that we have there. So it means that we are repeating, and we are repeating for what? Emphasis, hence the term repetition. From that, we now look at the last one here, which is inversion. Now, inversion is almost the contrast of repetition. In it, when we talk about the contrast, it means the opposite. In it, instead of repeating words, the fact is inverted, rearranged in another way so as to emphasize or highlight the idea or point in the questions. Example, John is a clever boy. Now, the same words are going to be used, but they are going to be rearranged. They are going to be in an inverted way. If I say John is a clever boy, we have a semicolon. If I want to rearrange it, means I'm going to use the same words. I am going to say a clever boy John is. That is what we call inversion, or the repetition of certain words there, but inversely repeated. That is why I call them rearranged words. Example 2, these shoes are expensive. If I want to rearrange the words, I can say expensive the shoes are. That is why we call it inversion. Example 3, he needs more time. If I want to rearrange it in another way, I can say more time he needs. Example 4, she is a beautiful lady. When it is inversely used, I am going to say beautiful lady she is. Well, that takes us to the end of figures of speech 3. I hope you have really understood what has been dealt with, and stay tuned, follow the lesson, stay safe, stay at home, and protect yourself and protect the nation.